Well, we have been talking a lot about the financial bailout bill that is intended to ease the credit crunch in the United States. Why is it necessary? And how did we get into this mess in the first place? For some more analysis on this, we are joined by Terry Savage, a columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times who specializes in personal finance. Terry, thanks a lot for being here. You know, we've been hearing a lot about U.S. taxpayers complaining about the fat cats on Wall Street, to be sure, but does the U.S. consumer have a bit of blame to put on their own shoulders here as well, do you think?
Yes, absolutely, Colleen, and very few people are understanding that. America is a great country, and the American dream is alive and well, that you can work for your piece of it, the land of opportunity. But about 25 years ago, people decided that they wouldn't work for their piece of the American dream, they could just charge it, and they started charging.
Yeah, and you know, just explain how big the problem is. I mean, I've seen figures that suggest the average American carries some $8,000 worth of credit card debt on average. I don't know how accurate that is, but it seems like it's a lot bigger than a lot of places in the rest of the world. I'm from Canada. We're sort of save it for a rainy day people. That's our culture.
I know that. You don't have mortgage debt to the extent that America does it. What happened is Americans decided, I want it now. Back in the early 80s, our savings rate nationally during that horrible recession when we were worried about auto industry and the Rust Belt, savings rate was 11%. Typically, it was around 6 or 7%. Back in June of 2005, the national savings rate in America went negative, and it's been negative or bouncing around zero ever since. So Americans have been living on credit cards, and we now have nearly $1 trillion charged on our credit cards, and studies show that half of those people are making only the minimum monthly payments, and this will shock observers around the world. Many of those people are paying interest rates of 19 or 20 or even 22%. Yeah, you can get low interest rates cards, but those mostly go to people who pay their balances in full every month. People who are hooked are paying well over 20% interest. So you can see how this bubble of debt has blown up.
But, you know, the industry itself is sort of to blame here, isn't it? I mean, you know, the number of pieces of mail I get inviting me to get a new credit card at 0%, at least for the first little while, it's no wonder people just get a bunch of cards and go nuts.
Sure, we had a whole generation that didn't understand if you got a mailing that said, you're good for $2,500, here's a card, they went, oh, good, I could spend $2,500. We never taught our children or our citizens about debt. So pretty soon, along about the mid-90s, late 90s, people realized their credit cards were charged up. Where were they going to turn? And along came the advent of the home equity loan. So on top of your mortgage, which we in America used to put down 20%, then it was 10, then it was 5%, people sucked out equity in their homes, which were growing in value, through these home equity loans. They were supposed to pay down their credit card, learn a lesson, and never charge again. It charged them up again. So now we have a giant pyramid of consumer debt. And as long as home prices were going up, it was okay. But when that bubble burst, all of this deck of cards literally came tumbling down.
Why do you think it is that the idea of this huge bailout is so unpalatable to so many Americans?
Well, you know, I get the same emails that everyone else is getting. People think that someone got away with it, and people are very unwilling to look around and blame their neighbors, their children. And so it's hard, it's easy to point the blame, and certainly blame deserves to be pointed at the CEO who walks away with many, many millions. There were lots of mortgage brokers around that went around selling little old ladies these new home deal, refinancing deals, and they got paid $1,000 a pop. And all along there was plenty of greed. There were the rating agencies that said, okay, yeah, package them up, these are good.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we fix it?
Well, it's sad, but I think this bailout is necessary because, you know, around the world, as you're watching, you're wondering, why are we bailing the financial system out? Because Americans were really scared last week. I mean, perilously close to, I was getting emails, shall I pull my money out of the bank? That would bring the whole America to a grinding halt. Now, we're going to have a slowdown anyway. Consumers will not be shopping this Christmas. They don't have any more credit on their credit cards, and they're scared. The rest of the world will see that. You know, even after September 11th, the American consumer kept spending. When Americans stop, that will be felt because we won't import stuff from China. We will spend less on oil and energy because we'll drive less. So this will be a global slowdown anyway, but we want to keep it from being something like the 30s.
Terry Savage, thank you.
Sad story.
Yeah.
But we'll have a happy ending. You know why? Just let me make this point. We've come through this in America before. We've really gotten ourselves into a fix now. But we're America, and we will get ourselves out. We'll be back there.
I feel better now.
I want you to.
Okay. Terry Savage with some great advice there and some great analysis. Thank you so much.